The streets of London were bustling with tourists, all eagerly waiting to witness the changing of the guard ceremony at Buckingham Palace. Among the crowd was a young boy named Oliver, sitting in a wheelchair, his small hands gripping the armrests tightly. His mother, Emily, knelt beside him, whispering words of encouragement. "Today's the day, sweetheart. You get to see the Royal Guards up close." Oliver had been born with a rare neuromuscular disorder that made walking impossible. Yet he had always admired the Royal Guards, their unwavering discipline, their striking red uniforms, and their unbreakable focus. "They're like real-life superheroes, Mum," he would often say. His biggest dream? To stand before them, to feel acknowledged, to believe that despite his condition, he was just like everyone else. As the ceremony began, the rhythmic sound of synchronized boots echoed through the air. The guards marched in perfect unison, their faces stoic, their discipline unshakable. But amidst the grandeur, Oliver's excitement dimmed. No matter how much he waved or called out, the guards remained rigid, eyes forward, focused only on their duty. Emily noticed the flicker of disappointment in her son's eyes. "Maybe they'll notice you after the ceremony," she reassured him, though even she wasn't sure. The Royal Guards were known for their unyielding composure. They weren't supposed to react to the crowd. But deep inside, she wished, just for once, someone would break the rules for her son. Just then, a tall Royal Guard stationed near the entrance caught a glimpse of Oliver. His name was James, a man who had served in silence for years, upholding the traditions of the monarchy. But something about the boy's eager eyes, the way he clutched his mother's hand, stirred something deep within him. James had once been a boy like Oliver, full of dreams, but burdened with struggles. His own father, a war veteran, had been paralyzed in service, and James knew firsthand what it felt like to watch someone you love be limited by their body. It was a pain he carried silently, a wound he never spoke of. And today, that pain resurfaced, not as sorrow, but as purpose. As the ceremony drew to a close, the guards began their exit. The crowd started dispersing, tourists satisfied with their photos and videos. Oliver, however, remained still, eyes brimming with unshed tears. He had come with hope, but was leaving with the familiar sting of being invisible. Then something extraordinary happened. James broke formation. A collective gasp spread through the crowd as he stepped out of line, a violation of protocol. His fellow guards stiffened, unsure of what he was doing. But James didn't hesitate. He walked straight toward Oliver, his polished boots clicking against the pavement. When he reached the boy, he did something that defied every rule of the Royal Guard's training. He kneeled. The towering, unshakable soldier, one who was trained never to move unless commanded, bent down, meeting Oliver's gaze at eye level. The crowd fell silent. Oliver's breath hitched as he stared at the man in disbelief. James reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, his own cherished medal, one he had earned through years of dedicated service. He gently placed it in Oliver's tiny hands. "You see, young man, strength isn't about standing on your feet. It's about standing tall in your heart. And today, I see a soldier in you." Oliver's eyes widened. His fingers curled around the medal as his lips trembled. "You mean I can be strong too?" James nodded, his voice steady. "Stronger than you know." Tears streamed down Emily's face. The crowd, once there for entertainment, now stood in silent admiration. Some clapped, others wiped their eyes, witnessing a moment more powerful than any royal tradition. As James returned to his post, his superior officer approached, a stern look on his face. James braced himself for reprimand. He had broken one of the most sacred rules of the Royal Guard. But instead of punishment, the officer simply whispered, "That was the finest act of service I have ever seen." From that day on, Oliver carried that medal with him wherever he went. It became more than just an object. It was a symbol of hope, of resilience, of knowing that strength wasn't defined by physical ability, but by the courage to keep believing. And James? He remained a Royal Guard, but he was no longer just a soldier. He had become a hero in a way no uniform could ever define. Because sometimes the greatest act of honor isn't in following tradition, it's in breaking it for the right reason.